Well, let's talk about that, right? So what is chick crack? Chick crack is, a lot of people will define this in different ways. The first original um, definition, let's say, of chick crack was sort of coined by guys in the pickup artist community, in the early pickup artist community. So anyways, uh, old pickup artist term was chick crack. Now, what was chick crack? Chick crack was something that the early PUAs picked up on very, very early in the game. It's in actually the book, The Game. If you want to know what chick crack is, I believe there's a whole full section in there. And what it is was the early pickup artists figured out that when they were in a sarge, right, when they were in an approach, when they were working a set, when they were chatting up a girl for the first time, it helped if they put into that routine something that was kind of like mystical or superstitious, or in some way had some mysticism applied to it. Now, that's not to say, hey, are you into tarot cards? That's cheesy and schmaltzy. It was leading into it or finding a way to sort of steer the conversation into something that's a little bit more, let's say, ego affirming for women when it comes to the supernatural. In evolutionary terms, in scientific terms, in psychological terms, this is called magical thinking.
The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues still did not repent of the work of their hands. They did not stop worshipping demons and idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone and wood, idols that cannot see or hear or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, their magical arts, their sexual immorality or their thefts. Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. This is a very serious video because it involves your soul and where you're going to go. I'm now going to prove who is godly and who's trying to get you to follow idols. On screen we have Angry Catfish Briggs' scarab beetle and his explanation for what it is. We're going to go through it and I'm going to tear it to absolute pieces because his idea of reading hieroglyphics is nonsense, and he took something from me and now he believes it's his, and he's trying to explain to you the things of the universe which he's failing at miserably. I don't care about that. What I do care about is leading people into idol worship. See, I've been saying a lot about women lately and about how, well, you can't be trusted because you're all magical thinkers. You can't be because you don't think like men. Angry Catfish Briggs is leading women into his own magical thinking because women love magical thinking, as we all just heard. So what's the magical thinking surrounding the scarab beetle? Let's go through what I say about the scarab beetle. I say that this scarab beetle is nothing more than an EM field. If this is supposed to be the moon, and this thing underneath, it's blue and green, so I'm going to say that could be the Earth. Obviously, I don't believe in a flat Earth. I believe in a globe Earth. This is the EM field from the Earth that's on a ring that it travels around. It's being held out by an EM field, and this scarab doesn't matter. This is just a representation of an EM field. You see, scarab beetles can find their way at night rolling a ball of dung using the moon as a navigation field. Yep, that experiment's been done. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere because that's pretty much where I think I watched it. They placed the scarab beetle in a box so it couldn't see its surroundings, and it navigated by the moon. And when they blocked out the moon, the scarab beetle couldn't find its way back to where it had been or where it was going. So the scarab beetle, because it rolls a pile of dung, they said that what's rolling across the sky is just a magnetic field, but we relate it to the beetle because of the fact that it rolls some dung at night and it navigates by the moon. So I say that this scarab beetle means zero, except it's a magnetic field, as is explained by the wings. Let's see what he has to say. He's going to say something completely different to what I'm saying. I say it's not a planet. I say this blue thing is a magnetic field.
Now, something a lot of people have been asking about, this image right here. What is the scarab? Well, What do you mean, what is a scarab?
See, he's now he's going to show off, and I'm going to embarrass him.
This is Earth. This is her baby Horus, because Horus, of all the gods, was born a baby.
That shows that what a pile of nonsense that is. Gods aren't born. Only in mythology and silly writings are they born.
And he had to grow, and he's going to be as bright as his father. He started out as her moon. Duh.
So he started out as the moon.
This is your opposing magnetic field.
Which, of course, is a halo wave ring, which is what I showed on video, but he laughed at it and said there's no ring. And yeah, here one is.
See, it takes two to make the circuit.
No, it doesn't. It takes one, the moon, plus an electromagnetic field.
That's your fucking scarab.
Yeah, and that's all he has to say on it. Okay, if this is the Earth, and that's the moon, Eric, I did a video on the Ra-bird, and I explained the Ra-bird was electricity and magnetism. Electromagnetism, and that's what? The sun? Because it's the Ra-bird, right? So that has to be the sun and not the moon. So, if this beetle is the Earth, where's the bird? What's the bird? What's the bird, Eric? It's nothing. You see these two red dots at the bottom? That's the two Birkeland currents. And what happens to energy? It moves perpendicular to the original flow, electricity, to electromagnetism. So, perpendicular to the original flow, we get electromagnetic halo wave. And that is what is holding the sun from wherever. The black hole at the centre of our galaxy. But the sun is on an EM field too. They just said it was a bird. The moon is on an EM field. They just said it was a scarab. It's got zero to do with the planet Earth. Because if anything, it looks like the planet underneath, blue and green. And it looks like this is coming out of the Earth toward the moon. The bird, of course, isn't a planet. It's a Birkeland current. It's on a Birkeland current string that connects it to all the other suns that head back towards the black hole, supposed, in the centre of our galaxy. So, he said this is Earth, which is, as we've seen, idol worship. So where does this kind of idol worship of saying that Mother Earth, you're going to inherit Mother Earth's power, and we're going to save the planet with shields because of the magnets in our chest. This is all magical, nonsensical thinking that appeals to women, because this, of course, is Mother Earth. I've seen many comments on his page. One funny one was, wait till Lee finds out that angels are women. Because she's seen them. All right. Okay. So where does this magical thinking with idols, how does it lead to sexual sin? The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues still did not repent of the work of their hands. They did not stop worshipping demons and idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone and wood, idols that cannot see or hear or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, their magical arts, their sexual immorality or their thefts. Idol worship and sexual sin. Idolatry and sexual immorality at the Christian Union. Let's go see what's going on and what they say there. A soul that turns away from you therefore lapses into sexual immorality when it seeks apart from you what it can never find in pure and serene form except by returning to you. All those who wander far away and set themselves up against you are imitating you, but in a perverse way. Yet by this very mimicry they proclaim that you are the creator of the whole of nature, and that in consequence there is no place whatever where we can hide from your presence. Augustine. Now, this basically talks about how idol worship leads you away from God and then leads you into all kinds of perversions. Idolatry can be summarized as the proclivity to turn away from God as the locus of one's highest aspirations for fulfillment and significance, and to subsequently redirect these yearnings for worth and beauty and happiness primarily to various aspects of the created world. Richard Keyes provides a useful psychological description of how idolatry actually functions in our lives. At the most basic level, idols are what we make out of the evidence for God within ourselves and in the world. If we do not want to face the face of God himself in his majesty and holiness, rather than look to the Creator and have to deal with his lordship, we orient our lives towards the creation, where we can be more free to control and shape our lives in our desired directions. Since we were made to relate to God, but do not want to face him, we forever inflate things in this world to religious proportions to fill the vacuum left by God's exclusion. An idol is something within creation that is inflated to function as a substitute for God, which of course is what Mother Earth is. The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues still did not repent of the work of their hands. They did not stop worshipping demons and the idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone and wood, idols that cannot see or hear or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, their magical arts, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts. So where does this bring women in? Well, women's ears are easily tickled when they hear about Mother Earth and idols. It has validated these women. You see, I've been talking about women's nature in several videos and lots of women don't like it. True women who are feminine and want to follow the Lord have backed me up 100%. It is only the loud women, the women who have lots to say, who don't like it. Now, where do these women go with the things that they think about the scarab? So he's teaching that the scarab, as earth, should be looked at. And whether he is or he isn't, let me just show you where that leads with women. I'm going to bring up Karen's video now. Karen proceeded to tell Catfish that, hey, I made a video about the scarab. Thank you very much, you rock. Let's take a look at her video and see if it involves idol worship. So this is a video made by a follower of Angry Catfish called Karen. She decided to make a video. I'm not going to put up her full thing here because it's none of my business to make fun of her. I just want to know you where following the scarab beetle leads this woman. So what do we got here? Scarab beetle, usual antennas. It all starts off very nice. It's a minute long. Beetle's wings composed of 4 wings. This is all informational. Beetles may not look like superheroes. They fly like them. Scarab beetles have unusual antenna. Here we go. This is where it led her. Scarab beetle totem is an ancient harbinger of magic and change. Highly revered in ancient Egypt, the scarab was a sacred symbol of immortality, resurrection and transformation. This means scarab beetle totem is a powerful ally for creation and metamorphosis in your life. So this is the female magical thinking that is being tickled here by this man who is not from the God that I know. There's even books about it. It's a spirit. This is just more of the same thing. Call to the... So here's where you do your idol worship. Call to the scarab beetle totem. Invoke it by saying something like, I call to the scarab beetle spirit, be with me now. I ask for your wisdom and guidance. When you feel ready, ask the following question. Even tells you what to say. Where in my life would I benefit from a change right now? Where in my life would I benefit from a change right now? Is there a situation or part of my life that is ripe for transformation? What is it? What do I need to do to put that change in motion? And then you should listen. Apparently you're going to get an answer from the spirit of the totem. And when you're done, thank the scarab beetle spirit for its assistance, which of course nobody does if they follow the Christ. They thank God, they ask God, they listen after addressing the correct person within the spiritual realm. If you're going to address spirits, well, you better hope it's a good one, not a bad one. But again, you're not supposed to. This is called idol worship. And where does this idol worship lead? This idol worship leads to sexual immorality. And this again led her then to Saturnalia, the ancient Roman festival dedicated to the god Saturn. She felt the need to put this on there because, again, more magical thinking that goes along with other spirits and female deities. Celebrated. That's the Roman festival dedicated to the god Saturn. Takes a brief history, the symbolism of Saturn, different ways you can honour the day. Saturnalia is considered to be a precursor to the more modern holiday of Christmas. Saturn represents renewal, stability, structure, intense focus, and blah, blah, more magical nonsense for people who don't follow God. And so it leads to sexual sin on Angry Catfish's page. Now, let me just explain. If this man's not from God, all this is fine. If any of these people following him are trying to find God, well, you're now falling into sexual sin in front of God while following a man who worships a planet idol. So, this conversation started when a woman said, "I hear more space rocks are going to be passing our planet." This got auto-corrected to a large space rack, something like that. But it said rack. So Angry Catfish says, quite normally, spice rack. Then somebody says, "We're going to get seasoned." Then John in the spirit said, "I've heard we have several, some very large racks that aren't sure if hit or miss." So they're talking about space rocks for a moment. Catfish says, "We know it was a spell check. Yes, 2 days. Sorry, couldn't help myself." Then Catfish starts in with the sexual immorality and says, "Personally, I'm not sure what to do with a big rack. I prefer them small to mid-range." So this is on his page in front of all his supposed Christian followers. Big Mama says more than a mouthful is a waste. Let's hope she's single, and not married and not a Christian, because she's now indulging in sexual immorality. Sheila Presby, who wrote it, her only words were, it said space rack, and Catfish has run away with it. And she says space rock, because that's all it said. Then Marilyn says spiced rum, let's throw in some booze here. Then she speaks to John and says, "Hi John," and coquettishly lowers her face and looks up at him with her eyes with a finger on her lips, giggling at him. And then John, in the spirit, says, "I'm partial to small to mid, but I do like most of them," laughing out loud. So we all know what we're talking about here, right? And then finally, we had John there. This is the bottom of the conversation. John says, "I'm partial to small to mid, but I like almost all of them." And Louis says something, I don't know what that says. But then Angry Catfish Briggs takes it right to the tits and says, "I think everyone is fascinated with this rack of yours," laughing out loud. See, Shelley has nothing here. She didn't say anything. She only reiterated, it should have said space rock. But down here, Angry Catfish wants to talk about your tits. This is the man you're dealing with. This is where idol worship turns to sexual sin. You can all follow this man if you want, because he'll turn around and say he follows the creator, which isn't my God, who is the energy god of the universe, and matter is dead and lifeless. And as I just proved, the scarab beetle doesn't represent the earth at all. In fact, it looks like it's the earth underneath, and the scarab beetle is reaching up from the earth to the moon, which is exactly how an EM field works. Whereas the Rauhbird is in space on 2 red Birkeland current tubes, because that's what the sun's on. So it's got nothing to do with animals, and you certainly shouldn't follow them or think about them in any way relating to God other than they're all an expression of a magnetic field. We could have put a body there, a person holding up the sun, and that would represent the same thing, because we are an electromagnetic expression as well. So yes, this has been very serious, and yet I've just smashed the idol worshipper who doesn't know what hieroglyphics mean. I just smashed him to pieces and showed what an ungodly idol worship, sexually immoral person he is, trying to lead women away from God into idol worship and sexual sin. See, I used to have a video at the end here of Chris Rock dropping a mic. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. That's when I used to do that. But apparently that's not even online now. I can't find a video of Chris Rock dropping a mic. So you can all drop your mics as much as you want. All you did was break your mic. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ. And I will have no affiliation with idol worshippers and crap scientists. If you're going to follow me, you can't follow the catfish. Unless, of course, you're in a quandary over it and you can't figure out if you want sex or God. That's like saying, do you want life or death? He's leading everybody down the road for his own little giggles. I'd like to hear what he's got to say about all this, but I'm not giving two hoots if he does. See, I'm the side of God and you can't win. Your interpretations are rubbish and you don't know diddly squat what you're talking about. And I will not take back that you're a narcissist, because you are. You said you could move a pyramid. You had machines that ran on nothing. And you said you had a model of the sun. None of those things are yours. And as I showed in several other videos, you explained them all wrongly. As I've just shown that you explained the scarab beetle wrongly. You're incompetent. Incompetent. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ. And I'm trying to save you guys. Work it out for yourself. Thanks a lot. Bye.